Hi, I'm Ray. I'm the CTO of SmartNPC, which is a SaaS for AI-powered characters, and I'm gonna go with you over our studio. So basically, this is what you see when you see the studio. You see projects, characters, API keys, building and plan, documentation. We're gonna go over them. Basically, if we go to the left tab, which is projects, every project basically represents a different game with its own unique story and character. In order to create a new project, simply click new project, name, enter the name, create, and I'm just gonna get into a project I created ahead of time. It's about the world of Viridian. Here in the context text area, you can basically enter an elaborate description of the world, and it's basically shared between all of the characters. Of course, our API, SmartNPC's AI, takes it into account in the characters interactions, so it's pretty important. Now from here we can go into characters and API keys. It's either here or on the left. The thing about the menu on the left is it takes into account the currently selected project. So for instance, right now Viridian is selected. If we were to select Arathia, which is a different project, the characters and projects we'll see here will be accordingly, and API keys, of course. So we're just gonna stick to Viridian, gonna go to characters, okay, and same. If you'd like to create a new character, click new character, enter a name, create. I'm gonna go into an existing character, which of course you can always modify and save your changes. Okay, here's the character ID. It's used in the SDK to refer to the character you created and have interactions with it. You can see where to use it and how to use it in other videos covering our SDKs and of course in our documentation. So here we have, of course, character name, background. This is more the personal background of the characters. You can elaborate on his story, history, emotions, character, etc. And of course all of this is taken into account in the AI, in the interactions by the SmartNPC AI as well. You can upload an avatar for your convenience. It just looks nicer at this point and stands out. It can be, for instance, a screenshot from your game of the character. Next up, gender. Gender can be either a male or female. At this point, it just filters the list of voices. It gives you either a list of masculine voices or a list of feminine voices, and of course you can listen to the voice to test and in order to be able to decide which one you like. And of course never forget to save your changes, or if you'd like to delete a character and start over or whatever it is, you can always do it as well. Now in the studio you are always able to iterate easily over the character and interactions by basically simulating a chat between the player and the character. You can always click on chat here to simulate one. Here you can basically test the reactions and see if they are consistent with the kind of character you would like to create. It can take a few iterations to get it right, but it's very it makes things a lot more convenient when it's all in the same place in the studio. Okay, so we basically can have two types of interactions. One is a text message, for instance. I'll just respond, okay, you are right.
I'm glad you understand. I believe that the past can teach us valuable lessons, and it is important to understand these lessons in order to create a better future.
Okay, let's see another way of interacting, recording speech. Can you give me another example of a future lesson?
Sure. For instance, the Great Schism taught us the importance of understanding the consequences of our actions. We must always strive for balance and harmony in our society, otherwise the same mistakes can be repeated.
Okay, this is mute character voice. We can mute, unmute if we'd like to stick with just text. And if we'd like to start over, we can always click on clear chat. It will literally clear everything that you see in here. This is basically all there is to know about the characters so far. Next up is API keys. In order to integrate SmartNPC into the game, you need to both download an SDK, for instance Unity SDK, and have an API key in order to be able to interact with the characters. So here, if you'd like to create a new key, just create whichever one you like. For instance, it can be based on your environments, for instance dev and prod, stuff like that. Create. Upon creation, you'll get a secret key. You won't be able to see this one later. You'll only be able to retrieve later the KD and public key, so make sure to save your secret key. It's more for API calls like creating characters and stuff like that, which should only be available to you as a developer, and not really to players who will be using the public key to have interactions in your game. Okay, so we have this. Here's the key, KID, public key. You will know where to put them. You have exactly these fields in the SDK, and any SDK basically. And basically that's it for the API keys. You have bidding and plan. I'll just cover it quickly. You can have unlimited for interactions within the studio. API interactions are metered. You have plenty in the free plan to test them in your game. If you need any more for testing, you can always contact us. And last but not least, this is our documentation. You can see here it covers everything I just told you about the studio, and it covers our SDKs as well. You should have everything in it. And this is pretty much it.